Well, Steve, welcome back to the fold. How do you feel about being named the general manager of the Detroit Red Wings today?
Well, obviously, Ken, I'm very excited. Thrilled to come back to the organization. Still a lot of familiar faces here, people that were here as long as I was and even longer. So I'm excited to be back. Nervous, it's a big job, a lot of responsibility, and we got a lot of work to do. But I'm very excited about it all.
The new Executive Vice President and General Manager of the Detroit Red Wings, Steve Yzerman.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate you all turning out this afternoon for our press conference here. I would like to start by saying, one, I'm extremely excited to be back in Detroit. This city, Red Wing fans, the state of Michigan were incredibly supportive of me throughout the ups and downs of my playing career. I am very excited to return to the organization and join the Red Wings again, and with our goal of getting the team back in contention for Stanley Cups and the championships that is expected and has come to be expected here in Detroit.
As a player, all those experiences help me as a manager because I can relate to our guys. Pretty much every after playing for 22 years on good teams, on bad teams, on playoff disappointments, like what we went through with Tampa this week. Been there, I understand, and it's tough. So I think all these things have helped me. As a player, the closer I got to retirement, the more I thought about what I'm going to do. The more it became clear to me that I would like to get into management. So I always thought, every situation, you kind of store that in the back of your mind, and I remember it. And when I get into management, I think it's helped. Doesn't necessarily mean I get everything right, but it has helped because I have a good understanding of pretty much every situation. I know what's going on in the locker room. I know what they're thinking. I know how they're going to react, and it's helped me. And I'd like to think it helps me in my relationship with the players as well. That I understand. Right or wrong, I understand.
Steve, from the outside looking in, you had an opportunity to see this Red Wing team. Obviously, you see a good future. Obviously, you're coming in here and you see a core group of guys. I mean, what's your overall take of this Red Wing team right now?
I watched a couple of games at the end of the season. You see them whipping the puck around. It was impressive to watch. The foundation of a core is there. With Dylan Larkin took a big step this year from a promising young player to really an impact player. Tyler Bertuzzi took a huge step. Anthony Mantha, Andreas Athanasiou, Philip Hronek took a big step. He looked like he was very comfortable playing in regular minutes on a D core. The foundation of a good core. You need to add to that to make it even stronger. Veteran players that have been here will continue to surround these young guys with these good veteran high character players that can help these young players develop and the team to improve. Analyze the organization, Grand Rapids, that our player will get a chance to watch them in the playoffs, and then you're going to add a few players graduating from junior and college next year into, or at least turning pro, and see where they're at, how much they can impact Grand Rapids or potentially or any of them, and some may surprise you. Are they ready to compete for an NHL job? We'll see. So there's a lot of young pieces that to me are exciting, that again have the foundation of a solid core. We've got to continue to add to that through the draft and give all these young guys the best resources, the best opportunity to fulfill their potential, and that's with instruction, coaching, diet, in the gym, all those things you can think of to get them to fulfill their potential. But there's a lot, and then I mentioned the draft. There's a lot of picks, so between this year and next year, and beyond that, you decide how you act and react as the team is developing.
Steve, I would imagine too that as a general manager, you have blueprints, or you have in your something in your mind that you want this team to be. What's the identity that you see this Red Wing team down the road?
The type of team, I think the way the game is played, the type of team to be successful, one, I guess you have a balance of everything, but I want a fast, competitive, skilled, smart hockey players. You look at the Nicholas Lidstrom, Pavel Datsyuk, Henrik Zetterberg, just the recent Stanley Cup team. These guys were intelligent hockey players. They were extremely competitive. They had skill. They could play the game any way. And the Red Wing teams that I played on had those types of characteristics. The championship teams have those type of characteristics, so that's what I look to have.
You worked with Kenny Holland after your playing days, and you spent 4 years with him before going to Tampa Bay. If there's one thing that you've learned from Ken Holland that comes to mind, what would it be?
Ken, honestly, I can't say it's just this one thing that jumps out. I would start by the first thing that comes to mind is his management skills, his people skills, the way he manages crisis situations. He has a good feel, a good way with people, and always finds solutions to. So he's a tremendous manager. And one thing I learned that is they call you a manager because you do a lot of managing. You do, like it's funny, but it's like, oh, there's always situations that come up and you got to find solutions. And what I just sitting, listening to Kenny and talking when I first retired, and again, throughout the course of my time in Tampa, I talked to him a lot. We talk about different things, situations, and he has really been a tremendous manager of people. And that's not only players, it's staff members, it's everything. He does a fantastic job at that.
Well, he's grown a ton. It's about experience. And I would say to you, when Steve joined us in 2006, first thing I look for is passion. He's got the passion for the game, and the work ethic and the attention to detail. I don't know that I teach anybody. I just bring you into my inner circle. I brought Steve into my inner circle from 2006 until 2010. He sat in every meeting. The experience of being the general manager of Team Canada, general manager of the Olympic team, talking to agents, talking to other people in the industry, building relationships. We're fortunate that we're getting him at a great time in his career.
He's always stressing passion. People love hockey. When you work in this business, you better love it, because that's what we watch, that's what we talk about, that's what we do. You're doing a lot of unglamorous things, driving trains and planes and all this. It's to watch hockey, and so you better love that. And then just, like his humility. I remember the day, I was right after I was retired, and we won the Cup in 08. When we were a player, you win the Cup, there's a lot of fun to be had for a few days, for all summer for that matter. Well, we had the parade that day, and I walk into the office, and Ken, Jim, hey, great, what do we, I'm figuring we got golf set up, we got a dinner at this restaurant or that, and they're like, wow, they're in the office the very next morning, they had to get ready for the draft, they had to get ready for free agency, they had so much to do, and I realized, hey, this job, there's a lot of responsibility that goes with it. So being there through those situations, I really learned from him and what Jim at the time, Ryan at the time, learned a lot. It was a valuable experience. So you asked me what jumps out, I learned a ton, and it all jumps out at me.
Steve, I know it's been a long day for you. One final question. I know the fans here in Detroit over the last year have been longing to have you as their general manager. Do you have any words for the fans right now? What would you like to say to the fans here on day one of your job with the Red Wings as a general manager?
I'm taking over for Ken Holland, who has been one of the most successful general managers the last 25, probably the most successful general manager of the last 25 years in this league, who has done a fantastic job. They are difficult jobs. Regardless of what people think good, bad, and different of me during my playing career, doesn't make me a good GM, doesn't make me a bad GM. My experience in Tampa was fantastic. I gained so much valuable experience. I'm disappointed I wasn't able to complete the job there, and as far as leave before winning a Stanley Cup, that's what I would have truly loved to have done. But for our fans, it's difficult. I was drafted in 1983. We finally won a Stanley Cup, and we had some really good teams through the early 90s, mid 90s. It took till 97 we won a cup. A lot of things have to happen to go. It's really difficult, and it took a while. And, the Red Wings won in the 50s. There's cycles, and it takes a while, and it's difficult, and there's no guarantees. So we just, everyone in Detroit is still pretty fresh winning a cup in 08. Good memories. It's hard to do it, and I just say, look, this is going to take some time. I believe this, with the Ilitches owning the team, they're committed. They want to win as bad as every single fan does, and they'll do whatever they have to get there, and I'm hoping I can add to that and expedite the process. But we need some patience, and me coming in, it isn't just going to turn this thing around overnight. It's not going to be one good off season here and away we go. I've learned it's a process, and having done it again for 8 seasons in Tampa, it's hard, and at times it's very frustrating because you want to do things, you have all these ideas. 30 other teams have ideas too, and and it's just really difficult.
All right, Steve, appreciate your time, and all the best with you as the general manager of the Detroit Red Wings.
Great, Ken. Thank you.